Well, good day to you. This is Greg Downing with Texas Medicare Advisors here in beautiful Leander, Texas. Now, if you're like most of my clients transitioning to Medicare, it's a lot more complicated than they thought. And they hear a lot of things that are confusing, contradictive, and quite frankly, they just don't believe them. And then the more you read, the more confused you get. So what I'm going to do today in this short video is explain to you exactly what I would do if I were transitioning to Medicare today based on helping hundreds of people do this. So no matter what you do, you are going to have two parts of Medicare. Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. Now, Medicare Part A, that is your hospitalization care. Now, the way it works is good because it's free as long as you've got your 40 credit hours, which basically relates to 10 years of work in the country. Now, Medicare Part A, what happens if, let's say, you get admitted to the hospital, you have to pay a $1,632 deductible when you go into the hospital. And that's not per year. That is per event. So let's say that you had to go in February for something and you had to go back in July, you would have to pay that both times. And there's some kind of weird things like you have to pay for your first 3 pints of blood. I don't really know why. I guess blood's expensive, so they figure, well, maybe we could, talk them into just buying 1 pint. And they'd be good with that. I don't know, but you do have to pay for your first 3 pints of blood. And if you're in the hospital for an extended period of time, you can end up paying copays up to $816 a day. And if you were very, very unfortunate in the hospital for more than 180 days, there's actually no coverage. You would have to pick up all that for yourself, which most people don't like. I'm not sure what that was, but we got rid of it. Now, so you can see that while this is good, you do have a lot of opportunity to pay a lot of money out of pocket. So people don't like that. So your Medicare Part A. Now the next thing we'll need is Medicare Part B. That's for physician visits, preventive care, ambulance services. If you get diagnosed with cancer, you need chemotherapy. That's all going to be covered under your Medicare Part B. Now, so what you want to do is sign up online for your Medicare. You used to could go down to the office, call in, but you can't anymore. You have to sign up. So you want to sign up for your Medicare online. We'll show you how to do that. Sooner the better. All right, and then you can get kicked into your Part B coverage. Now, Part B is not free. It's going to cost you, for most people, $174.70. That's the standard premium for 2024. If you're a high income earner and you make a lot of money, you're going to have to pay more because you know how the government works. The more you make, the more they take. So if we need to talk about that, let me know. Now, with your Medicare Part B, there's a $240 deductible, and that's once a year in 2024. And then after that, the government pays 80% and you pay 20%, which is awesome unless you get something that costs $100,000 and you have to come out of pocket $20,000. You're not going to be too happy. So, let's say you're in that ambulance and in a really bad wreck. People just don't like the fact that exposure is there for that much money. So what most of my clients do is they get a Medigap plan or a Medicare supplement plan. It's the same thing, but it's just two different terms that they've put together, and just to make things a little more confusing. But Medigap, Medicare supplement, same thing. We're just going to call it a Medigap plan for this purpose. And the best Medigap plan you can get is a Plan G. And the Plan G, what does it do? It pays for the Part A deductible, any copays, also pays the 20% that Medicare does not, so you don't have any out of pocket. The only thing that you're going to have to pay right here is the $240 deductible in 2024. And that's all you have. So really good coverage, and you can see any doctor, hospital in the country without a referral as long as they take Medicare. And by law, they have to take whatever Medigap plan you have, whether it's Aetna, Mutual, Humana, Blue Cross, United Healthcare, whoever, Greg's Dirt Cheap Insurance, they have to take it. So this gives you freedom to go see who you need to. All right? Now, you think, whew, I'm done. Well, not quite. Because now we got to get a prescription drug plan, right? Because we take prescriptions. I don't know if you've seen them advertised on TV, but it's crazy. Now, in Austin, or actually in Texas, there are 22 different plans to choose from. Well, how do you know which plan is right for you? Well, you don't, but we do. We're going to help you. And the way you figure that out is we get a list of your prescriptions and what pharmacy you want to use, and we put it in our magic Medicare machine, and it'll kick out the most price-wise plans that are most economical for you and make sure you don't overpay for your prescriptions. Now, some people say, well, I don't take any prescriptions. I don't need it. Yes, you do, because you never know what's going to happen. Plus, if you don't sign up now, you're going to have a penalty for the rest of your life. So there's plans, believe it or not, that are 50 cents that actually are pretty good, crazy enough, and then they go up to $100. So that's what we help you do. You need to get a prescription drug plan. All right. So I used to think, well, you're good. That's all you need. Well, I have changed my mind. See that fellow right there in the corner? That is Johnny Lee Downing. That's my dad. He lived till 92. Him and Mom were in assisted living at Lubbock, Texas, at Red Raider Ranch for 3.5 years. And then when Mom passed away, Dad moved with me and my wife, and we took care of him for almost 4 years, okay, because he could not live by himself. And the reason you want to have some type of long-term care plan is because Medicare doesn't pay for long-term care, and 70% of us are going to need some form of long-term care. Now, there's lots of options out there that most people don't know about. So one of the things that we strongly encourage is you visit with our long-term care and Social Security advisor to get some ideas on how you can solve some of these problems, okay? So you think about Dad, for 3.5 years at a retirement assisted living, it's 7.5 years that he needed somebody to take care of him. All these things cost a lot of money, and if you want to blow through your retirement money, this is the fastest way. So we just encourage you to think about this because Medicare doesn't cover long-term care. All right, now, there are other things that Medicare doesn't cover. So we recommend you get some additional coverage if it's important to you. Now, one of the important ones is cancer, where you're saying, whoa, I thought Medicare covered cancer. It does. It does. It covers chemotherapy, it covers all that. But there are several things that I was unaware of that can happen when I first started in the business. For example, I have several clients that are on these very expensive cancer oral medication that cost up to $10,000 a month. Even with the prescription drug plan, they're out thousands of dollars every year because they're so expensive. Also, I've got several clients now that are having radiation or chemotherapy, and guess what? One guy's got to have 42 treatments of these. He goes 5 days a week. Well, that is not good because he lives in a rural community and it's an hour commute to the hospital, the facility where he gets this done. And when he gets done, he doesn't feel very good. So that means somebody has to drive him there and drive him back. Now, it's difficult to do if you have a job. And I'm going to tell you, Medicare's not going to pay for the wear and tear and gas on your vehicle or lost time. And that goes the same. I got people that are having to go to MD Anderson. Well, they don't pay for your hotel stay and your mileage either. So I recommend you get a little cancer insurance. I personally have $20,000 on myself and my wife. Why? Because my dad, my brother, and my mother have all had cancer. My wife's mother, dad, and brother have died from cancer. And both of her sisters have had breast cancer. So, hello. So it's easier for me to pay a few bucks a day to have coverage than it is to have to come up with, say, $20,000 or $30,000. So that's just a recommendation that I've come to believe makes a lot of sense to have a little extra cancer coverage. All right, and Medicare doesn't cover dental or vision or hearing, or I didn't know he spun around like that, but that's okay. So if you want to get policies to cover these, that's great. If not, just be aware that they do not cover just your preventive dental services or cavities or things like that. All right, so here is your checklist and exactly what I would do. One, you got to get your Medicare Part A, your Medicare Part B, get a Medicare supplement plan or Medigap plan, whatever you're in the mood to say. And you got to get a prescription drug plan, figure out what additional coverages you need, and start thinking about long-term care planning for yourself and your loved ones. All right, now, wait a minute, Greg. Let me tell you something right now, sonny boy. My brother-in-law told me that he didn't pay nothing for his Medicare plan. Well, that is partially true. So, I don't know if you've ever seen this guy talking about free, get this, get the benefits you deserve, but he's talking about Medicare Advantage plans or Medicare Part C. Now, are they available? Absolutely. You can get these plans with a zero premium. You just have to purchase your Medicare Part A and purchase your Part B, and you can get these plans. What is a Medicare Advantage plan? That's where the government woke up one day and said, oh my gosh, we've got all these people turning 65 and they're living forever. So we need to figure out a way to transfer some of that liability exposure. So let's just hook up with these insurance companies because they do it all the time because Original Medicare is so rich. So what we do is they contract with these individual companies like Aetna, Humana, Blue Cross, and they pay them to provide you with benefits. Now, I'm not going to go into them a lot about. We do sell them. They are available. We'll talk more about that later. But that's what he's talking about, all right? Now, but what do you need to do right now? Well, you need to meet Rochelle Abbott. Now, Rochelle Abbott, she is my associate, works there at the office. She is a licensed insurance agent as well. And we work as a team together to bring you on. We've just found it's a better experience for the client when they have a couple of people to talk to because a lot of times I'm gone, I'm out of town doing seminars or training, and you need to have someone to get a hold of if I'm not available. So there's Rochelle. Also, what we need to do now is get a list of your prescriptions and your preferred pharmacy. Also, we have to get you to complete a scope of appointment. Now, this is a governmental compliance form that gives you, or actually you're giving us permission to talk to you about these plans that are available with Medicare. So actually, we've got a little link there. You can get it all done with one swipe. But we get that information, then we can start working on giving you a way that you can find out how Medicare is going to cost you. We don't want it to spend any more money. And by the way, I know you're wondering, well, geez, how much do you charge for this? Well, that's a good thing. We don't charge a single penny because we're compensated by the insurance companies to provide you a plan that meets your needs and budget. So whether you do this all by yourself or you use us, you're not going to save any money. It's all the same cost. All right, so that's it. So what you need to do is complete those forms and give us a call, and let's get started on your Medicare. Have a great day. Have a blessed day, and we will talk to you soon.